door, ma'am. Emergency. Please step aside, sir.
Hey, get lost. I'm waiting here, huh?
FBI, you might want to stay out of this, all right, sir? Excuse me, sir. Ma'am, please, back off. All right, I need 8 double tall.
Welcome. You woke me up from a dream. A dream of TK FOMO. Are you actually in a dream with TK FOMO? And I say, yes, you are in a dream with TK FOMO. You've been dreaming along with me of all these new artisan figures from Hot Toys. Will it be one artisan, 2 artisans, 3 artisans, 4 artisans, 5 freaking artisans? Because what you gonna do? And what you gonna do? And what you gonna do? And what you gonna do? When TK FOMO, the Hot Toys Wizard, and the Dark Jedi run wild on 6-scale Raw on Yale. What just happened?
Well, I tell you what, baby, I normally don't go live on a Friday. And I know there's going to be other shows going on tonight, so I'm going to try and squeeze in between so that I could go ahead and share some thoughts on this incredible day here for Hot Toys and 6-scale collectibles. Look, and I hate to use the word excuse, but I think now they will use an excuse. There's a 10-year anniversary for one of the stores there in Asia. Last year, of course, it was for, the May 4th holiday of Star Wars. And we got an amazing amount of drops. If you remember that May 4th, it was 5. And when you compare that to today, in addition to that Batman blogger photo, we not only got 1, not just 2, just 3, baby. Just 4. But 5. 5 different Hot Toys today in one shape or another. And you have to ask yourself, is it possible that what I have been projecting for so long, that there would be more and more announcements, but less production of said announcements, with more reuses of molds, different paint apps, or using the same characters again and again? And that is exactly what we are seeing right now. It is an unprecedented time, a new time for collectibles. But look, these releases today, I believe personally, are pretty darn spectacular for sure. And I absolutely wanted to share my thoughts on these without question. Putting some of these up out of here. Good old Spotchka. Yes, and I'm not going to be on real long, but smash the like button while you're in here. It's so good to have Payton 23 in the house for sure. And Uncarded Reviews is in here going, we are here for you, Aries. Let's cook, baby. Well, let's cook, baby. What exactly is it that you would like me to cook for you? Are you in the mood for some pizza?
You're delicious. Ciao, boys.
Well, not only is Pizza the Hut delicious, but I would venture to say that Uncarded Reviews may be delicious as well. Good old Spotchka in the house. Round of Spotchka for Hot Toys. Yeah, round of Spotchka, and let's serve you up. There's a special new blend that I have as I fill up table
Coffee
2.
regular. Love it.
You know that's breast milk.
Collector Joey, what is going on? What's up? I don't know. A lot of Hot Toys, my friend. Paul Morales. Hello, everybody. Hello to you, baby. Kinky Roller Coaster is in the house, saying he's at table 69. Well, I just let me play it for you
Coffee
again.
regular. Love it.
You know that's breast milk.
Come on, Collector McJoey. What is up, baby? Good to have you. Good to have you in here for sure. Valiant Archer Coast, or I guess it was last night. Tony says, "Hey, brothers and sisters, make sure you all smash that like button." It's definitely a little bit crazy here as we get going in. So again, for everybody who's watching, let me know in the chat what you think. But we got 5 releases like this back last year on May 4th. And you do have to ask yourself, wow, we're getting another 5 releases today. And yes, I think it's, for some, I was talking to my friend Jay, brother cousins, earlier this evening, and he was mentioning this is because of some kind of 10-year store anniversary. Quite frankly, everybody, it could be a 10-year store anniversary. It could be a 5-year anniversary of a movie, a 10-year anniversary of a movie, a 7-year anniversary of Spotchka in this bottle. It can be a 2.5 anniversary of this Wizard wine juice in here because, or 2.357 years. It could be any excuse to go ahead and put these out. But notice the limited numbers on some of these, absolutely crazy. Guys, let's go ahead and dive into all of this. And let's just do it right now. All right, and welcome to a very special 6 Scale live with the Dark Jedi right here at 6 Scale Cantina. Make sure you go ahead and smash that like button. I may get a couple of guests who may pop in, but right now you got me, myself, and I, which me may be the Hot Toys Wizard, myself may be TK FOMO, I may be the Dark Jedi. You have to wonder. But it's your opportunity to go ahead and ask me any of these questions with what's going on here. And I can tell you right now, when we're going ahead and looking at Across the Spider-Verse, they are committed to this particular line and, quite frankly, everything when it comes to Spider-Man. But I think these are awesome releases. And let's go ahead and go through them real quick. Let me know what you think. But what a day. And you're getting Miles G. Morales here, who I believe, from what I understand and know, was not bitten by a spider, but certainly learned how to fight crime. My daughters love this everything about Spider-Man, especially my youngest daughter. But I mean, they are so committed. I mean, everything Spider-Man. But it's good to see not just different versions of Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, quite frankly, and what's his face, the new one, which is escaping me, for the minute. It's good to see these characters, but this is really, really cool. And it's great to see these animated head sculpts. They don't quite do that quite interestingly, if you notice, with the animated series for Star Wars. They let Sideshow do that, but they certainly do it with this particular, with this line. And you do have to ask yourself, what kind of relationship do they have with Sideshow that they wouldn't venture into that as well with Star Wars? But this is great, baby. This is great. Let me know what you think about this. Are you surprised that not only this came out, but also the other companion piece, which I'm going to put up here in a minute? But I'll be quite honest with you, the mask is sick. The look is fantastic. I'm going to try and blow that up even more. Yeah, no, baby. I mean, I'm seeing this, and without question, I mean, this is what I'm doing this morning. I'm waking up and I'm like, what the frack? Your first coffee spiller right there, pulling this up off the sheen. For sure, a cop for Prowler. Austin's in the house. What is going on? Good old Spotchka says, putting this up on the screen, what a hell of a figure. This is what was supposed to happen, right, to regular Miles. So this is not only a dope release, but an amazing story in the film. And Lane, because he knows how hard it is to set the controls at the heart of the sun. And there he is, the Lane Kramer inside the cantina. What's up, baby? How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. I got you noticed a little bit here. I was in the middle of eating dinner and was like, you got to be kidding me. He's going live again. We get a double Aries streaming sandwich this week. Wow.
Well, I tell you what, Lane, holy crap. I mean, dude, 4 releases today, 1 announcement because that Batman came out quick. I mean, they just announced that like 3 months ago, dude. Like something like that. That's just starting there, Lane. Were you surprised that that's out? I mean, you have hardly no time to prepare for it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is like, Aries, you've talked about it sometimes. We're used, from the maybe even kind of pre-pandemic era, you were used to, probably minimum year and a half usually for production time. Yeah. The 2 years. Well, we talked about like that Wanda, which was like, or the Wonder Woman, the 84. We were like, guys, this is almost like 3 years. That's too long. You announced this forever and a billion years ago.
Or cable.
Yeah, or cable. And now they can't sell cable for $187.
No, and you know what? You can't even sell them for $147. I feel like cable came out when cable came out. Which one was that? 1980? Anyway. It was announced anyway.
Well, I always put it to start with ESPN, seeing them in like 1979, 1980. But that Batman figure, we talk about a little bit sometimes releases. There's always that collectible versus letting people who didn't have a chance to buy it kind of thing. It's always a very tricky road. I think it's cool. It's not like that figure, it's already where you talk about the modern era being waitlisted and stuff. I think in some ways it makes it maybe a little bit all right in certain respect. Not all figures, but certain figures, if you put them back out, like a 2.0 or something.
Right.
Because apparently the cape is supposed to be. It's like, the Nightmare Batman had the actual leather jacket. Like that was an actual improvement to the figure. So it's not exactly the same thing that it was before. This looks cool. I actually considered maybe getting this dude because I like the blaster gun and all that. But I'm not a big Batfleck guy. but I already had the Batman figure already on pre-order, so I kind of kept with this one. This one's cool. I'm glad to see it coming out. Now, it was a 2.0, so that probably helped them get it out a little bit faster, obviously, since they had, as you always like to point out, they've got the molds. The molds are there waiting for thee.
I mean,
and I won't be this animated the entire night, but I'm on I had a little bit of sugar high right
well,
now.
no, and I'm kind of Hot Toys high right now. Lane, good thoughts. Good old Spotchka says, putting this up over here.
Yeah.
Hot Toys playing a very interesting.
You don't think this
game.
was strategic? I mean, and with J&D putting their video saying that they're going to end the ones that, and when you put this up, you sent me. This is one thing I want to ask you towards the end after we get past all the announcement stuff.
Oh yeah, whatever you want. Yeah,
I want to get your, and even the chat guys just a little bit, but I want to get Aries. Is just within our, not like into what could they do. That's not, but just a question in relation to I'm wondering what, because obviously I've shown you pictures. I own some J&D statues. I think they're one of the best for actual real actors or character, movie version of characters being made.
Right.
Doesn't mean I think necessarily they make the best statues all the time. I mean, you can look at some Prime 1 ones and just look at the big funky base and go, well, that's a plain brick. And this is got laser rays going into the thing and making it 35 inches taller or something. But I'm not going to get sidetracked from these figures. This is what you're talking about right now. I love that shot. The black suit Superman in that back to back.
Yeah, it does look pretty sweet, doesn't it? I mean, it looks but dude, it does look good with that dark suit Superman, and maybe even better than the Nightmare Batman.
Well, you got to say, if you were getting that Bat Cycle by itself before it waitlisted, this was actually one I was thinking if it had some of the right hands, because I hated that Batman suit for the Flash. This was a Batman. I was like, hey, maybe I could get this one instead that on the Bat Cycle instead.
This is
might look cooler. Yeah. I do make the goggles when they're down look a little goofy, I think, to me, in comparison when they're just up. But I mean, is this something, I know you're, Aries, you're more Star Wars with, sprinkling in stuff here and there. Is this one that, let's say, you
that I would
get it for a decent price? You might, because I think this guy's not going to be super expensive on the secondary.
And this is the one from the Flash movie, right? Right, Lane?
No. This is
which one is this?
League. Justice League.
Okay.
So it's an older one. It doesn't look hideous like that other one does.
I mean, I would if I was getting. I really want the one with the full Affleck head sculpt. You know the one I'm talking about, right? Yeah. Although this, I mean, this looks so good, dude.
My favorite one is Nightmare Batman. That's the only Batfleck I considered getting at some point.
Yeah, I consider getting that too all the time.
I think that's the coolest one to me.
Well, you're getting deals on that. Yeah. If you noticed the last month, Sideshow has put up some deals on that Nightmare Batman, Dark Suit Superman 2-pack. They had one up on the 2-pack Boba this week, but they had 25 or 30% off on this.
Are you surprised that I know we talk a lot about the quote era, the COVID era where it was still overproduction and stuff, a lot of production and for figures. Are you still surprised though that maybe not the Boba 2-pack, but that Batman and Superman, because I figured they were going to make those in pretty low number, that one. Are you surprised that those still are around to this day? Or had you figured, you thought maybe, even though you weren't big into DC collecting as much, say back then, a year and a half ago, that those have not gone away or waitlisted or almost, at least been low stock by now for a little while?
Not in this economy. I think that they built up their stock to what they were selling right before COVID and right in the middle of COVID, especially when people were getting some extra money and weren't able to go, quite frankly, Lane, outside and participate in a lot of activities that require expendable income, such as even I could mention bowling, the movies, anything that you would be able to do outside, dancing, going to restaurants, so on and so forth. Everybody was taking a lot of that money, which adds up and putting it to collectibles. Yeah. And then once COVID was over, And you got to remember, honestly, dude, and it's scary to think about. But in 2021 and 2022, you have interest rates in the U.S. going between 5, and 8%, and the highest here in this country in 40 years. But people keep talking about the U.S. It was even worse, and it's still worse in the UK. In Europe.
Well, they had Brexit and all that. They completely flipped
they're at
their
6% right now.
system out.
And the same in Russia. They're at around 5-6% inflation rate. And while in the US, it's kind of okay. So now it's kind of like, it's leveling off to about 3.2%. Dude, it's supposed to be about 2% a year. So while we're trying to catch up and it's no longer, there right now, it's at 3.2. How the heck do you catch up? Nobody's incomes, for the most part anyway, from what I see, has been able to really rise up. So how do you get rid of those figures in stock? Lane, I don't see collectors coming in right now at the thousands into this hobby. Quite frankly, even in the hundreds. So I'm not surprised at all. And I think that's why you're seeing what you're seeing here with some of the stuff.
And DC has been kind of, I'm going to put in quotes here, weakest maybe of the three major hot toys brands. Hey, Aries, literally just before I popped on, look what showed up though.
Oh, let me kind of go ahead and blow you up, baby.
And then we can go on to that. The Book of Boba Fett just showed up like literally 3 minutes before I did. And guys, let me do it. This is unsolicited. This is my first piece ever from the eminence himself, Ray from Hawk Wars. This is why I wanted to put it out real quick, Eric. I'm like, oh yeah, I just got this. Let me show this. But I got
that's going to be a grail, Lane. That one, I you have to ask yourself, is that Boba Fett from the Book of Boba Fett? Less quantity.
I love when you say it like that. It's just like blah 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 blah.
Is it less than 3,000 of the arena suit Boba Fett? And to be quite frank with you, I
call him the Wizard.
Yeah, it's
look. This one's gonna be a grail, baby.
I'm Boba Fett. I'm here to see the mayor. Boba Fett. Do you have an appointment?
Well, I wanted to say a big shout out to everybody in chat and everything. I know Aries, especially a lot of times in Market Chart Show videos, mentions Ray of Hawk Wars. I just want to say for my one deal, and I have gotten to know Ray because it's partially my fault. I think he spent, I don't even want to know how much on some J&D statues because he was hitting me up about it. I kind of may have
he's awesome.
I may have subtly influenced him to go spend I don't want to know how much money to go get a couple.
Well, Ray, I totally recommend.
He was very good to deal with.
He is. I definitely buy a lot of my figures from him.
But you were looking at Bada Pup.
I was. I want to reach out to some people here on the chat and put some people in. Look who's in the house. The big dog pound. So let me go. Or you want to do it with me, Lane? Woo!
Oh, I'm too fast.
And Master Imwe is in here giving the big dog pound a woo as well. And Uncarded Review says, can't wait until the writer's strike is over. Right. So Uncarded Reviews, that way I could get the the Ray Daisy Ridley live action series.
What about that ship?
That was garbage.
Well, that has been a lot of modern product on the streaming series in the last couple of years. I would agree with that statement from Finn. You called it.
Yes.
Big dog pound. Now the thing is, though, if we are the Ric Flair, we are the Horsemen, that must mean you must be the shock master as you come exploding and tripping your way through the wall.
He's like styling and profiling. And probably hanging out with Patrick, who's saying hello to us here. What's going on to you, baby, as well?
Oh man, so many people showing up too on short notice. Kind of thank you guys.
I did this very, very short notice, and like I said, I'm not going to step on anybody's shows. I'm only going to be on for a little bit here, but no, look, let's go ahead and I just have to talk about this. It's a crazy day, and
yeah, a lot of stuff, man. And this might be the last big like sudden release of stuff like this because with the second half of Showcase for the year. So
maybe, but I actually think it could be a sign that it's possible that Lane that it's the sign of it's not. But let's hold that thought. I was just talking about Miles G. Morales and pulling this up. Dude, Spider-Punk. Dude, they're here's the interesting thing about this, and I don't mean to pivot it to Star Wars. They don't do animated for Star Wars, but Sideshow does. They're not using the human head sculpts here. How come they're not doing it for Star Wars? Is it a Sideshow thing?
Might be licensing stuff. I wouldn't be shocked by that, man. You have to say, are you surprised they're going this deep into Spider? I mean, even though I know
because Spider-Man sells, baby.
Yeah,
Spider-Man does anything a pre-order can't. Come on, dude. I mean, did I say that okay? Did I rhyme that okay? Come on, Spider-Man. I mean,
Howard Chan, he'll get all your dollars today. Howard Chan.
Blow that piece of junk out of the sky!
Bullfight.
Man, even the regular troop like AT driver guys for the First Order had lamer helmets than the Empire. It's like, I swear to God, other than the Emperor coming back, they decided, let's make ourselves look stupider as possible. More aerodynamic and dumber. Ooh, wow. It'd be interesting, the area, not a long time from now, but I do have to admit, it would be kind of interesting to compare when this Spider-Punk to the old video game Spider-Punk figure.
Makes
when
me
came
think of
out a while
Cyberpunk too. If you ever played that video game.
Which, man, Aries, you and I look cool with hair like that.
Well, I'm just trying to keep my hair, baby. Taking a lot of those hair growth miracle pills. Yeah. And I need some miracle pills from the Hot Toys Wizard.
How do you like that background?
I do love that background. It's really good, dude.
It reminds me a little bit because you remember I had the classic Spider-Man, the video game one of the last ones they put out. They came with that, background you could put around the and then had attached the scorpion tail and stuff like that with it.
Yeah.
And everything. That was really cool. So that I don't think this is going to be as cool. No in Hot Toys, that's going to be some pretty not great cardboard or something.
Well, I'm wondering with these releases, with everything that's coming out, they're going on wait lists very quick. I'm not sure. I mean, you're not even getting Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. We're going to talk about Tobey Maguire here in a minute.
Oh, yeah.
Staying up, going on wait list well before it comes out. I give these maybe 3 months.
And I don't think they're going to make a ton of them either. I think the animated
because there's nobody. I mean, what's kind of funny, Lane, as we're going to go ahead and make sure you guys all smash that like button. You're watching a special show here of and that's Spider-Man. Both of those Spider-Mans. Do I think it's good? Well, let me answer it by filling up table 66, man.
Good. Well, what we already had. So, guys. So I'm going to trademark the name where we had Aries Raw on Monday. When you get an extra stream, it's Aries Medium Rare.
Aries Medium Rare
special edition stream. Boom. Got enough words so people can enough words to make you stand out, but not too many words that people can forget.
Dude, I'm going to give you a holy crap moment.
Oh, what did that?
And this is like this is just like so amazing that they did this right here, Lane, to be honest with you. This.
Oh, dude, that is my favorite one.
Dude. Look, Spider-Man 3.
Bully Maguire, we all need it.
As soon as Tobey Maguire came back into Hot Toys,
yeah,
I knew they were going to start coming out with different versions of him, and here you go. But dude, this is bad arse, dude. This is bad arse with separate rolling eyeball function. Wow. What do you think about this? And I'm telling you, I think, it shows you that all kinds of movies, because, we came out, there's a damn Endgame figure.
Yeah.
There's an Endgame
Two
figure. There's
versions
an
of it even.
Endgame
Endgame
figure that came out today.
And
Oh my
and we
God.
still can't get rid of Endgame figure.
You know what? No, they're gonna make
or on Hot Toys, but they're not gonna make as many of this one.
Dude, I mean, they're gonna get rid of some of those figures in stock.
I grow tired of asking this, so it'll be the last time.
And unfortunately, we don't have a Death Star to send them to a planet and then blow them up.
All right, in the chat, let me know, boys and girls, what you think of this figure. But Lane, you go first. What do you think of Tobey?
This is great.
Maguire.
So good. This was my favorite thing for them. It kind of comes out of the blue. I know they had the Spider-Man 3 thing, but it's like 2 days later this pops up. I think that this may be a little bit of a telling sign for also with Hollywood having the strikes and everything, and perhaps a lack of new content that we're going to see more into next year. I know some other streams were talking about it, is that Hot Toys may be going back to some older property they still have the licenses to do some new figures and stuff too, because, they may not have new stuff to fill in kind of their production schedule. This is not like they just took maybe a little bit for the basis, like, the Tobey Maguire No Way Home, because he looks older, obviously, because he is like, 15, 20 years older when he's in that movie. So they use some of the bases, but they had to rejigger,
I was kind of thinking that way. So I feel like it's the same head sculpt, but maybe a lot of paint to make it look younger, kind of like they did with the Mando Luke and the Bespin Luke. Do you think that, or do you think it's a different head sculpt?
I think that's probably more like. I mean, I think they're using it as the basis, the mold and stuff. But I'm not going to.
I think the basis too. I kind of agree with you.
Yeah,
but Mark
you're
Attack,
not going to confuse them. You're not going to confuse them with each other.
Mark Attack gives us a 10 lane.
Yeah, it's that particular, like, where he's in the suit jacket, Bully Maguire, like. That head sculpt is going to go on so many custom Bully Maguire figures. It's not even funny. I love that they're giving it the purse eyes. And, I think one thing that helps this maybe is because, his hair is just kind of flat and very simple haircut and stuff. I think it made a Hot Toys where it was an easier haircut to even have to do on the head sculpt, so that they were able to, maybe be able to focus a little bit more on perfecting the paint apps, all that stuff. And I think the simple haircut helps make this head sculpt look better, because it's tons of hair all over the place.
And the songwriters in here, good to have you in here, a single songwriter. Looks amazing. Very lifelike head sculpt. No, I agree. But like we always do, Lane, with single songwriter, you do have to ask yourself, songwriter, is this what they call you, babe?
They call him the Wizard.
But so, Aries, let me ask you now. So, in relation to this figure, other than the head sculpt, what is your favorite part of it? Whether you're going to get it or not, where you can just admire it. What is your cool, like, kind of the neatest thing other than the head sculpt for you?
The whole figure.
Yeah.
I want to get this. What is this? The deluxe version that comes with this?
The only difference, at least for deluxe and normal, is just the base.
It's just the base.
It's just the base. Now there's the special edition that comes with something different.
Would Rolling Eyes function and getting great actors and characters that have portrayed some of these characters that are beloved, like Tobey Maguire, and you're talking about Spider-Man 3? It's kind of hard to pass. And this is like next level head sculpts here, baby. That's like that Tobey Maguire that's coming out right now for No Way Home. And obviously the Andrew Garfield came up. And because the Andrew Garfield one, Lane, to try and answer your question, already has been on waitlist, you're seeing that figure rise exponentially in the secondary market right now. You're seeing it with the Black Panther figure. You're seeing it, forget about Crosshair right now. When you look at some Star Wars stuff, it's absolutely crazy. Even that, what people thought was a crappy, Matrix 4 movie, which I really enjoyed. But that figure's doing really well.
And that is not the best.
But why would that figure, Lane, do well if nobody really liked the movie? Is it possible, Lane, because they've made so little? And I say yes.
Yeah, yeah, totally. So I think that if I get this guy though, I would be getting the regular edition. I would not be getting the diorama base because I never use them. It's like,
but dude, this diorama base though, let's talk about it. It's nice.
Yeah. Well, the nice thing is you could put have that and maybe have like one of the Venom figures has come out. You could put that with it. I think there are different things that you can put around with this other Spider-Man, like where this is the symbiote trying to like hook on to one of the Spider-Men or something, where the Garfield maybe, or Tom Holland or something. There's a lot of, hey, Mark Attack, thanks for joining us tonight.
Absolutely. Thanks, Mark Attack. Absolutely, for sure.
This base, I think you could do with a lot of different Spider-Man. It doesn't have to be just black suit. That is the cool thing with it, is you can use it for a lot of different stuff.
Well, let me ask everybody in the chat that's in here. Are some of you, number one, are you getting this figure? A. B, and you don't have to tell me if you're putting an NRD down or not. With me, I really don't until a little bit later. It depends on what it is. Or do you plan on getting this figure, and do you plan on getting it with the base or without the diorama base? Let me know in the chat. Let Lane and I know below. But I wonder what this is going to go for, because before I went live, I was looking to see, Lane, what the prices were, but I only saw the two Across the Spider-Verse figures just as coming soon. I didn't see.
They had an advertisement, at least with the I saw a listing for, I guess, because they're also doing, I think, a big convention this weekend in Asia as well. I'm fairly certain, like China Joy maybe, or no, something different. They're I think this is one of the reasons they revealed them. But this is like Showcase Part 2, basically, where we had the first one earlier in the summer. But I mean, the Tobey, I don't think it's going to be, because it hasn't got the big stupid Sandman, diorama base, so it won't be $450 as much as that one is. But I would figure, I don't think there's going to be a huge price difference, at least hope not, between the regular and deluxe here. But I think the base Tobey No Way Home was $300. So I gotta imagine it's going to be at least what? Okay, because the only difference for extra stuff is the
look at this, dude.
It's going to be the base. Yeah, look, that's so nice.
I mean, geez.
And the ooze and stuff like that.
I think you're right. So you're thinking similarly, Lane, to the
315. I think 300. I think it's got to be like 310 or 315, especially if this is a special. Like when you're going to talk about. Did you already talk about the Iron Man?
No, I didn't get there yet. I've just been
Well, did you notice? I don't know if you noticed, but I will get to it here. But that one's only 1,500 worldwide.
Yeah, no, I want to talk about that.
Okay. Anyway, so I'm not jumping ahead here. But
it's all of these are going to be pretty limited, though. Like that Tobey Maguire wasn't up the Electro, the Doc Ock, the freaking Andrew Garfield. All of that, and the other freaking Green Goblin one, the one with the modern suit, and the other one, they didn't, they're not. What were they? They were lasting on pre-order like 6 to 8 months, and now you're starting to see it go the last several months lower.
Yeah,
I wouldn't sleep on these dudes because, dude, I'll tell you this. As before we go to the next figure and you continue on this, I was talking to brother cousins about this. Okay?
Yeah,
this is a little bit crazy. The Luke, the Mandalorian Luke right now, okay,
is gone.
Because it's just one per person and you still have the sideshow version. I saw one sell for $230.
Yeah, same.
What? And I'm seeing it with Scarlet Witch, the one that just came out for
WandaVision
a couple months ago. I'm seeing it now with Wonder Woman 1984. That came, that one now, and you're starting to see them
still
go
in stock.
100. There's just, once the juice is squeezed, once these are out, there's no more collectors. And I don't see anything in this economy, Lane, where it's going to be like, oh, wow, it's fixed. Here's 10,000 more collectors to take care of 10,000 in your warehouse. So even when they advertise that Iron Man, which we're going to get to here now, and they advertise this whole 1,500, who's to freaking say that the Grand Inquisitor has more than 1,500 runs? Do you think Mighty Thor is sitting with 15,000? You and I both know the answer is no.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Like, just I'm at Aries. Let me ask you just before we jump. Do you think maybe one of the fastest wait lists we could see might be the Dewback, like with the Trooper? Do you think that one could go really like even less than 3 months, maybe, just because it's such a big item? And
the problem is they have the Blurg listed for a while. Let's use the Blurg as an example because that's a big beast, right?
Yeah.
And now you're starting to see Blurg with Mando sell for less than 50% the retail price on eBay. So let me ask you, Lay, to throw it back at you. What do you think?
Well, I'm speaking for waitlisting. I think because I think that one I think because it's such a high price, and I think that could be one that wait lists really quickly, because I think maybe Sideshow,
right,
like is ordering just like super, like they may be more right to pre-order kind of thing, you know?
No, and we're gonna get into
this is my dude. This is my favorite one though. This is the one that I went.
Well, that's before we go ahead and get into this Iron Man, of course, the Artisan. Let's go ahead and look at some of the stuff in the chat.
Yeah.
Uncarded Review says sculpted Scarlet Witch is going to be even lower quantity. I think he's onto something, because just because they don't, Lane, advertise that the Scarlet Witch with sculpted is not limited, that doesn't necessarily. We can't assume it's going to be 3 times as much or even more.
Well, no, it's 2,500 worldwide for the Scarlet Witch, but remember that is still less than Anakin.
Oh yes. So, it's 25. Yeah, we're gonna have to get into that. 20. But
sorry.
I mean, you can't say that the sculpted one is more than that.
No.
And I think that that's a good point that you have, and that Uncarded says here. Red in the Ledger in the house. What's up, buddy? He says, I like that sculpted Wanda better than the rooted. We're gonna get into that for sure. Let's see. Payton says just chilling, and good to have you chilling in here, my friend. Uncarded Review says 2,500 is a lot. I kind of agree. There's really only around 5K Hot Toys collectors worldwide. That's interesting. I don't know if that's true or not, but one thing I'd like to say maybe on top of that is maybe how many, with all the collectors worldwide, Lane, how many average of every release do they buy? I'd like to spin that way, because I don't think that every release sells like 10,000, but I could say maybe an average is like maybe 2,500 or 5,000 or something, because not everybody can buy everything, right?
Yeah, and I mean, and then there's these days you talked about a lot. You may not be buying.
Yeah.
You know,
and then,
you may not be buying an entire line, or you may be passing on lines waiting for, No Way Home. That's 17 figures or whatever it is, double-digit figures. You're like, hey, I'm just getting No Way Home, and that's it through like 2024 first time.
Well, you have to with somebody's now. Big Dog Pal says Hot Toys is really killing these head sculpts. So I know I agree with him. And let me know in the chat what you think of these head sculpts. Somebody said in here they like the sculpted version of Wanda better. We're going to get to that figure here shortly. Make sure you smash the like button. Let me know what you think of all these. But as we're diving down, we talked about the awesome
and for finished sculpts, they're killing it, and for prototype sculpts, they're killing it right now.
Yeah,
Even on this guy, they did a killer sculpt, and it's not even based on a real person.
Let's look at this again. So, Lane, this is limited to 1,500 worldwide, right?
Yeah.
Another one. So let me tell you what's going on here.
Mm-hmm.
You could get right now the Mark 85 battle damaged or regular. Sometimes I see it in the secondary market going for 50% less.
Yeah.
than the retail price. So really, when you're going ahead and you're advertising that these are limited, it brings a call to action, doesn't it? Like, hey, if you want it,
Yeah.
this is all that we're making. And I'll be quite honest with you, dude. I like the numbered, not well, I would like number and serialized releases, but I like these limited releases because it's like, hey, right there it says it's going to have value. It's going to have collectability. It's even if they come out with something very, very similar, this version for this thing is going to be limited to what is that 1,500 pieces, what this is. So I kind of like it because I mean these are not hot toy. I mean, these are Hot Toys collectibles. There needs to be some collectability brought back into it. Your comments on that, and I do like this head sculpt a lot, dude.
Yeah, I think one of the reasons they're being so limited is I have a feeling that because this is part of the Origins line,
Right.
that those did not sell so great. So I think they may have done a pivot to make this a lot more limited and maybe to try and because it's a similar style to you can see it next to that one. I mean, there's not a ton of differences.
Weren't the
throughout
one
this
next to
one.
it they were giving away like a couple months ago?
It's
like
on sale, yeah, because they saw big enough to get it.
But they're giving away one for free.
Yeah.
I think it was that one.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Now, people have made the thing with this one. They say it looks too much like a toy, except I think that's one of the.
Well, these are Hot Toys.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I think, guys, this is what makes this one sort of unique is because if you look at it in comparison to some of the old 60s, 70s comics, it is dead on look for them. So this is not good. This is not one for the average Hot Toy collector. That is more used to movie or something like that stuff.
Let me ask you, and we've got 48 in here now. Make sure you smash the like button in this impromptu. What do you think of what good old Spotchka says here? Hot Toys heard everyone's complaints with the original comic Iron Man and took it to heart. What do you think about this, Lane?
I agree completely. This is probably the most they're different. This is probably for 1/6 scale, at least as of right now, going to be of old school Iron Man, like 60s, 70s Iron Man. The most accurate you're going to see in that scale. It is using the base of the other ones, but it's like doing it looks goofy because you know what? That's the colorations and everything because of what the comic looked like in the 60s and 70s. That's how he looked. And they have literally transferred that over. Like this look complete, even the comic head sculpt. I mean, I'm impressed with this head sculpt. This looks like, we were just looking at Spider-Punk and some of that animated style for Across the Spider-Verse. That looks like they used that as the basis and managed to refine it into a comic accurate looking, 3D head sculpt. It's not for everybody though.
Here's what Red in the Ledger says. The freebie was the holographic one. You're right. They were doing that one and the long haired
for years.
That's Supergirl, Marvel, Captain Marvel, whatever her name is. Pedro Lopez says, love this Iron Man. Reminds me of my old Secret Wars Iron Man figure from the 80s. No, I mean that's what this is trying to emulate here. Let's see what Uncarded says here, Lane. He says, considering that Hot Toys is only releasing 500 of the Artisan Wanda to Asia, and the remaining 2,000 are going to Sideshow, that says a lot about the production and distribution. Well, if Uncarded's right, that does say a lot. Maybe, Lane, 1,000 to US and 1,000 to Europe?
Yeah, something along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the economy's also been worse in Asia than it has been right here. In China and other stuff too.
Cam's in the house. What's up, Cam? Saying sorry in art, laughing his mouth off. I mean, I gotta thank first of all, when we're talking about in art, I am so excited, Lane, because I have decided I'm going to dive into their Lord of the Rings line. It's too good.
But
it's kind of like X06. They're doing an amazing job with the Star Trek line, and I was speaking to Mafia about it, and he was saying it is in the works to do the Abrams characters, which will be great. And I know that they're working on a fourth, possibly last movie with that crew. but they're doing an amazing job. And I love it that there's a company that's focusing on a line as deep as, that Hot Toys does Marvel and Star Wars. So if I could get InArt to focus deep on the line of Lord of the Rings, because, that line is so deep. When you really, really get into it, there are so many figures that you could put out. Because what I don't want is, like, it's kind of like we complain about Hot Toys. Really? Do we really need a 2.0 or 5.0 or 6.0 of that figure already? And if another company's like, and I get it, they needed to punch Hot Toys right in the mouth to say, hey, we could do what you do. Here's a comparison. But if we keep coming out with the same figures, it's like, it's the same thing. I don't care what company puts it out. I'm like, can we stop? Can I get something new? Can I get something different? So that's what I hope that they do there. But thank God for InArt Cam, because that's what's creating a lot of this.
Which one are you getting? Are you thinking you'll get, or if they put out a figure, which one for Lord of the Rings are you considering?
I want to get them all. So that
Aragorn
and that Gandalf. So if they could give me Aragorn, I'll get every version of Gandalf, and that. Then I want Frodo. I want Samwise. I want Merry. I want Pippin. I want.
But that would be your.
I want Galadriel. I want Elrod. I want Eowyn. I want Faramir. I want Theoden. I want all the Lord of the Rings damn figures. Come on, Lane. I mean, that line is just so deep.
I want Legolas. Sauron?
Oh, I'll take a Sauron. Yeah, I mean, why
seen that third-party one that's 24 inches tall? Because that's how big he would be.
Well, it's
maybe non-scaled Sauron.
Red in the Ledger goes, Legolas will be fire. No, I agree. I think he would be fire, almost as fire as getting a Hot Toys version as I fill up table 3.
General Kenobi! You are a bold one.
Yes, but one whose arms, when you touch it, don't fall off.
Cam's Collect says, Lane, excited for the Lord of the Rings line from InArt. I am too. And that's really what I'm going to focus on. I probably
would be getting them, but I got like
and that's what I'm
$1,000 statues coming.
You got you collect those big wig things there, baby.
Yeah,
with the statues.
What can I say?
But like people ask me, like, hey, are you going to get the Henry Cavill from InArt? You're going to get the Wonder Woman from InArt? And no, I'm not. Why? Because all Howard's going to do is Hot Toys has the license. They've been doing it longer. They can put them out faster, and they're going to be very invested in beating them. Like they're trying to do with the Joker. Why the heck am I going to buy those? But I'll buy Lord of the Rings. I'll buy something different. And then if Hot Toys came out with like Lord of the Rings, I would bypass Hot Toys. I'm like, I don't need it. I already got the InArt one. That's kind of my position on it. But Lane, to answer your question.
Well, I think that because I considered maybe trying to get the Aragorn. Because I really, even though I'm not going to, I just really like that figure. I think it looks great. It's hard though, because it's like $500. That's, I mean, even, in comparison to Hot Toys figures, that's a lot. But let me ask you, Aries, to get back on track with Iron Man here.
Yes.
What do you expect? Do you think his price point's going to be? Because he's a Hot Toys exclusive. Do you think 400? Because they were like 375 or so for the other ones.
Let me go look at these pictures here. What was the D100 price again, Lane? The one that's up right now, wasn't that $500
for
the D100?
The Disney one.
The Disney
Mark
one.
7 was 405, 400 or 405.
Yeah, I think this one has a head sculpt. Die cast limited to 1,500, right?
Yeah. So same number, I think, is the other one.
$450. $450.
Woo! That for non-movie based one.
I think exclusivity. I think it's going to be up there around there.
Okay, I'll disagree with you. I think it's going to be about. I mean, it's not a big difference. I think it'll be 400 because the other ones were like 375, 385.
I'm leaning that you're more right. I'm leaning that you're probably more right than I am, but I'm wondering, Lane. Eventually, they're going to have to catch up with inflation. Hot Toys and charge some prices. So I think so. Maybe it's going to be in the middle, maybe $425. What do you think of that?
Yeah,
because it has a head sculpt. That's my only difference.
But it's not a movie star head sculpt.
Right. So
it might be a little that's why middle range. I think that
yeah. But this is again more and more announcements, less production of these announcements. But here's the big news, Lane.
Yeah, this is the big one. This is what we got to spend the last time on.
But with this Iron Man, this is now the 8,328th release of an Iron Man for Hot Toys.
But it's a unique one.
I get it.
We can't say it's unique. Not a unique one.
But they put one out then. They put one out now, and they're going to put one out probably.
Everything that happens now is happening now.
What happened to then?
We passed then.
When?
Just now. We're at now.
Go back to then.
When?
Now.
Now?
Now.
I can't.
Why?
We missed it.
When?
Just now.
Am I wrong?
If you blink, Lane, you're going to miss an Iron Man release because they put one out every month.
Am I wrong that honestly that I would like put aside Star Wars for like a year if I could just if I could just get a series of Spaceball figures, the President, give me Darth Helmet, give me Lone Star, give me Barf, give me the Princess, give me the robot, the robot lady play. Just give me the Dink Dinks, or I forget whatever they were named and stuff. The little guys who were going ding 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 as they find them in the desert and give me yogurt. Like if I could get Spaceball line, I would put Star Wars on a hold for a year and buy if they put out 12 figures for Spaceballs and just give me a flamethrower with yogurt and I would be good.
Dude, but this figure is so. What do I think of the way this figure
looks?
I mean, this is so freaking fire. This is, I'm just going to be honest with you. This is just my opinion of this particular figure.
Mm-hmm.
It is so freaking good. This is one of the best figures, prototypes I have ever seen. I am just blown away. And I do have, Lane, in my possession the Warner Brothers 100 Wonder Woman with the wool-rooted hair. Now, I believe, and I was talking to Mafia about this too, and Brother Cousins, that they didn't call it an Artisan because they wanted to focus more on the Warner Brothers 100. That they did that for Warner Brothers, but make no mistake about it, I believe that is an Artisan, and having that in hand, and that is without question the highlight of my collection right now. This looks so damn. I mean, forget about the base. I want to talk about just the head sculpt and the hair. This is, I mean, I'll be honest with you, I feel like I'm looking at freaking Wanda. I mean, that is scary. Wax museum, scary. Like I'm gonna go. Ugh! It's like too real. It's gonna start talking to me, dude. I love this. I'm just being honest. I that's my opinion.
But my only problem is I don't like the outfit. Because she's not still the Scarlet Witch to me until actually the WandaVision one, where she's actually in the Scarlet Witch costume. I'm not as big a fan of Wanda until she actually finally became and was called the Scarlet Witch. But remember, I'm a comic book reader. I have been for 30 years. I still am to this day. So I have different expectation versus even that I apply to live action, whether that's a good idea or not. However, that being said, this head sculpt is amazing. Whether you're talking the rooted hair or the sculpted one, I think the sculpted hair on that one is actually amazing. Like after having done the sculpted hair that they did for the WandaVision and then improving for Multiverse of Madness, and I think now they've done for sculpted hair and for rooted hair, this figure has been. And you know what? People, I know we make fun of kind of for the Endgame line and stuff, that we can't get rid of some of the figures now. because, like you said, we're in the era now of not leaving out just Artisans automatically, just a limited thing. This is one of the figures for people who wanted to finish that Endgame line have been waiting for, and they can get a super exclusive version to finish it, or they can get a sculpted version that's probably going to be the best looking version of the character in the most iconic movie that the character was in. You know?
I want to put some of these comments up. I'm right with you, Lane. I have to get this one. Now what to do with Bomb and one, I don't know what that means, but I know you're excited.
That's WandaVision and Multiverse of Madness.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I totally agree. I mean, I could tell you my thoughts on where these figures are going to go, but hold on, Cylon.
Straight to the bargain bin.
Major, it is. I have, Pedro says, Lane, I must have this Wanda figure. And I say, yes. I already pre-ordered her this morning from Hong Kong. Big Dog Pound says this head sculpt is perfection. Combat Evolve asks, you guys think this will be the same system as Joker for the Anakin? Oh, yeah. And I have some inside news for you. So these are going to come in pairs, baby. So whether it's tomorrow or Sunday or Monday, you're going to see another Artisan release because they're going to do these in pairs. It's not just going to be Combat Evolve. It's not just going to be Scarlet Witch, for when they do this Q system. It will be another. And you have to ask yourself, could it possibly be the dark side version of this Artisan figure?
You underestimate my power!
Or
what?
Could it be, Lane? Could it be?
I have a sneaking suspicion.
A Luke figure. I'm just saying, but
anyway, no. Okay, you just didn't say who I thought you were going to say.
LEIA? Luke?
No. I thought you were going to say Bo-Katan. Because I know you're on the, you're sitting on there with Mommy Katan on her throne before it got vaporized.
Yeah, I want Bo-Katan with that, but I really rather have Leia. I'd really rather have Padme.
I would say, yeah, if they were going to do an original trilogy, like, so they did a, prequels one, if they were going to do because honestly, in some ways, I honestly think rooted hair, if Luke, which has the short hair, I don't know if that's really taking advantage of the rooted hair. It's almost like ladies with longer hair, or even Anakin, who's kind of got, the bigger, longer hair style in that, what would my friend call it? He's like the space mullet. What's my them having in Revenge of the Sith? I think that the Leia, I honestly think doing classic original trilogy Leia with the new head sculpt, like A New Hope, I think that would be the one to do if you're going to do it. Like if you were going to pair up with it, because I think it's a unique hairstyle. It's not just kind of the look, hanging down hair like we've seen for Wanda and we've seen for Wonder Woman. So it might be more challenging for them because the upkeep on something like doing that kind of hair might be more of a pain in the butt long term. But that is what I would like to see. I think in A New Hope, Leia would be perfect for the next Artisan Star Wars figure.
I agree too. And Mama Luigi asks the Dark Jedi, how is the wool hair quality with the second brother was going to try and make it, but not feeling too great today. How is the wool hair quality? I will tell you right now, Mama Luigi, I did a review, and you need, if you didn't check it out, check out my review of Wonder Woman. It's gotten over 1,000 views. It's at 6-scale Cantina. I did a lot of close-up pictures of that and video. It was the most views I ever gotten doing a review. And Mama Luigi, the Dark Jedi doesn't do many reviews. I leave that for other people. But when it warrants it, I'll do it, my friend. And let me tell you something, baby. It is that the hair is absolutely magnificent. And I watched, a video of brother cousins take that wool rooted hair of, Wonder Woman and take the top part of it and dress it down. I haven't done that yet, but it's so pliable and maneuverable and resilient. It's absolutely unbelievable. So this is again right now for me. And let me know in the chat. So many of you are saying I'm going to try to get as many of the chats as I can. Let me know what you think of this. But this is like that Wonder Woman, but this is one of the most realistic figures, Lane,
Yeah.
I have ever seen. This one has rolling eyes, dude.
Yeah. They've done we can just, Aries, we can just say in the last month, like let's say since the showcase, the first showcase, Hot Toys for their prototypes and their finals, they have put out some such amazing things from like that Sabine we talked about the previous week. The Artisan Anakin, which they already had a good base, obviously, but that Artisan Anakin, the Artisan Joker, for just something bigger and amazing, that Dewback that they put out, in the detail it looks like with that. In the last 2 months, I remember we were talking Hot Toys are they going to be on the defensive a little bit with InArt or are they on the defensive with putting stuff out? I think Howard just like dropped an avalanche on that idea and just buried it in the snow, because I think creatively this has probably been two of the and just also the Spider-Man 3 Bully Maguire. Like this has been 2 months of some of the most creative stuff they've done.
You're exactly right, Lane. In the last couple months, and I feel like I'm looking at like a J.C. Penney catalog, baby. Going ahead, what the heck? What am I looking at? And we talk about and I'm so glad I actually returned because I actually had the WandaVision, Scarlet Witch. And I had to return it because I got an opportunity for something else from Sideshow. And I'm so glad I did, because honestly, for me, this is going to be the quintessential figure. And there's not even a doubt. If people are writing as a Dark Jedi, are you going to get this? This to me is the number one Scarlet Witch figure you're going to see of Elizabeth Olsen anywhere on the planet.
Big Dog Pound just put the one art, because I'm not going to go for this. I'm not interested enough in this one.
Oh my God.
Big Dog Pound just put out the one figure that if they did an Artisan, I would be like all over, and I'd be like, Piccolo in Dragon Ball Z Team 4 store, get out of the way as I come driving through to pre-order it, is Artisan Harley Quinn from Suicide Squad. If they did a actual Artisan like hair of that Harley Quinn.
Well, that's what he puts down here. Yeah. Artisan Harley Quinn from the OG Suicide Squad.
I'd be all over that in 5 seconds.
This kind of tells people now. So what are you going to be looking for? And like, again, look, not everybody's going to get Artisans. And as they put these, exquisite figures out with this amazing hair, and I can attest the hair is absolutely unbelievable. And I should pull it out, but I don't know if my hands are clean enough, and I don't want to grab that Wonder Woman, but it's right behind me. But it's amazing. It's absolutely, you can't even compare it to the old type of hair that they used to put in with Black Widow. Yeah. And I've seen, they're okay. It's a next level. So this is
that who you would probably like to see next? Is probably if they do a Marvel. Do you think they're probably going to do a Iron Man, Tony Stark? Like,
I think they're going to do all the main characters, because it's going to give you an opportunity, and I think this is what Howard's doing. And let me ask you a question. Mm-hmm. Howard's very proud of his products. You've seen the videos. You've seen what they're doing. They're very proud. Mm-hmm. So all of their main characters, take Tony Stark, take Scarlett Johansson. You're looking at Elizabeth Olsen here. Go ahead and take a look at those, even and Brie Larson. Take a look at those characters. Is he going to put out a version that makes it look like you got a live human being in your hand? I say Yes, he's got the head sculpts, he's got the molds, he's got the license, he's got the R&D, and what he's showing you here, and you could walk in with no fear. You only have to put out a figure of 300 pieces like they did with that quarter scale Iron Man. You don't even have to take a chance. It's like, oh, no one will buy Poe Dameron Lane. You know, we talked about this last month. Well,
Darkseid Ray. This would be the perfect.
Well, 1,500 you'd sell, right, Lane?
Yeah.
Easy. So I think, honestly, he's going to put out the best versions of those figures. Let me throw it back at you when you're talking about Marvel. Think about the New Hope Luke, a New Hope Han, a New Hope Leia. Let me ask you that.
Han. It doesn't have to be Artisan Han. Let's just get a Han. Just Harrison, just bite the bullet. Just say, I mean, maybe for an Artisan one-time limited thing, he might say, okay, and we can get Han Solo. But, like, everybody's going to be wrestling in the street, giving suplexes and cyber noogies to try and get their hands on it.
Well,
you talk about these. Are you an Artisan Han? Could you imagine the fights in the street to try and get that?
All right, so let me ask you a question, Nate. All right.
Yeah.
Artisan Han goes harder or more crazy than the Artisan Anakin. Tell me, what do you think?
Oh, it would go more than Anakin.
Oh, way more, dude.
Yeah. I mean, we'll just look at. I mean, we're just talking right now for besides the Artisan Anakin. There's already there is that Clone Wars one out, which is basically that similar head sculpt to it. There's also the Attack of the Clone, which is the kill, like that one is its own killer head sculpt, and there's also what is the one I'm forgetting? And then you had the Artisan one too, and there's no Hans, like there's no Hans that have come out since then. So I think where you always talk about where it's lack of availability, that to me that would make the Han like that would be that would be the Artisan figure of the year. Now I hope they don't put out too many of these because I think the only thing I worry is because they water it down over time if they put too many out. I think they need to keep it still like I don't know 3 or 4 maybe a year and really keep this.
I think they're going to be around that. Honestly, I think it's going to be 6 times a year. I thought about
like the summertime. This time they'll put them out like it's the big time.
About as many times as they come out with DXs. If you're putting it together, Lane, every DX now comes with this hair technology. So I estimate about 6 a year. So they're probably going to come out with a DX version sculpted and with this about 6, and that's how they're going to grow their DX collection from now on. I'll be honest with you. Which honestly, if you multiply that, Lane, if they came out with 6 a year and you multiply that by 6 years, that's only 36 figures in 6 years. That's not bad. So I think it's going to take an enormous amount of time if that's all they come out with. But I think they need it every couple of months. So when do we do the and maybe it's quarterly. So, but either way, they're definitely going to do a quarterly, in my opinion.
And I know Sideshow is all in because this will get people onto their site and looking at stuff, and they can time it around events.
But dude, this is so this.
Good.
The dark side Anakin with this luminous effect in the eyes.
So far, at least for the prototypes, all the Artisan line has been banging. There's not one that you can say that at least that is they are putting their creatively really putting their money where their mouth is, making these look fabulous, and they're going to make the bodies good. Now I know we talked about it, the Anakin, like, oh my gosh, why is it another instead of leather? Well, at the end of the day, they may unexpectedly not tell us, and it's like this other material when it comes out in a year and a half.
Could they do this eye effect, Lane, with the dark side Anakin, which would be freaking sick?
Dude, that would be cool. Like,
dude, man, I'm thinking about it right now, looking at this. Like, give me.
Wouldn't that have been maybe the only thing cool, maybe with the Artisan, is if some of them had a removable faceplate or something where you could switch in the light, have the light or dark side on it. It's being nitpicky or whatever.
I wish they would have done that with the Anakin, to be honest with you. But I feel like the only reason they didn't is because they're gonna give us the same freaking thing again.
Great base.
This is an amazing base.
Yeah. So that, and you know, I except for the Anakin, obviously I know, but they've they've made sure Hot Toys is like, oh, you don't like, some people are like, oh well, I don't like, the having rooted hair, and you think you're safe, and then Howie goes, oh no, you guys aren't safe. Here's going to be like $100 less, but here's like that head sculpt, and look at this sculpted hair version of the figure that comes with everything the same, and look at that, and the suckers who aren't going to go, or like aren't into rooted hair, are going to look at that version and go, please take my money, I'll buy the other one, please, I'll take it right now. So Howie's not stupid. He's like, I'm getting all you guys, it doesn't matter, you're not getting away from me.
No, I agree. And putting this up on here, henceforth, you shall become Darth McVader. And Big Dog Pound, woo, says, so who is going to risk pre-ordering Scarlet Witch from the Toys Wonderland?
After the Justin bomb that got dropped, I don't know too many people.
Well, I don't, I mean, a lot of people are going to buy this overseas.
Yeah.
If they're going to miss out with Sideshow on this.
Yeah.
I think that this Scarlet Witch, honestly, is a serious game changer, like Luis is saying. This is a serious game changer because Hot Toys already looked lifelike, but when you add hair like that doesn't look like flimsy in a Barbie, Combat Evolve says, I think a lot of people are still going to prefer sculpted figures over the rooted, which is why I'm glad they're offering a sculpted version, because quite frankly, Lane, it's not just the hair that's really good on this figure and this base. It's the head sculpt and the rolling eyes function. That's another thing too. A lot of people are like, you're getting these Tony Starks now that are getting rolling eyes function. So they're even more superior to the head sculpts of Robert Downey Jr. with the previous Iron Man. I mean, it's not just hair. Everything is starting to get better. Even if they just coming out with these Jedi figures, USB lighted lightsabers are way better than these freaking batteries. Like I got that DX Bespin that has the lit base and everything. It's so cool. You could just plug it in and leave it in all day, baby.
Yeah. So this goes back to me now. What I think as we're looking at this would be a good thing to bring up my question to you, what I was going to ask earlier. Emo Batman.
Well, Rusty, hey, limited to 500 pieces. There you go.
So Aries, now with J&D, because I know you don't collect their statues or anything, but you've seen them. So I think having this up here, what's having the Artisan Wanda, is perfect timing for it. So J&D, which, as you know, they're known for hyper realistic, lifelike third scale statues. Now they're going to be entering. That's what they do. That's all they put out. What do you think they can contribute in 1/6 scale because of what they're going to between what they're known for is really facial sculpt stuff. Like that's really the detail and everything for their statues. That's what they're known for.
Mm-hmm.
But with Hot Toys system, and Hot Toys might be improving. That might be and J&D said like a year and a half ago or something like that, they were going to be trumping into this at some point. So it's not new news at 100%. But what could J&D offer different, specifically relating to head sculpts and maybe somewhat body production and everything, that we're not seeing Hot Toys in it? And this is chat too. Already doing. I mean, how much can they do something that I don't think they can make it look more realistic.
So here's the thing. I'd love to answer your question, Lane. Big Dog Pound goes almost $600 at that store right now. And look, I'm personally going to take the chance of getting this particular figure with the Q system, with Hot Toys. I expect it to be announced soon, but I am telling you from the Hot Toys wizard that this will be paired with another Artisan release that's going to be forthcoming here within the next few days. You're going to want to hold on to your heads. You're going to want to hold on to your hats. Remember, what happened with the Joker and Anakin. This is the first one, but they're not going to waste our time with a queue system with just one figure. And there's going to be another one over a couple of days. You could bet your arse. What will it be? Will it be another Marvel figure? Could it be Black Widow? Could it be Captain Marvel with the upcoming Miss Marvel movie? Could it be DC? Marvel. Because a lot of people I was bringing her up on Monday to look out. On Monday Night Raw this past week, and Lane, you were there. Yep. I brought up, you got to look out for Elizabeth Olsen. And here you go. I said, you got to look out also for Captain Marvel and for Black Widow. But you got to also look out for Anne Hathaway. They are very deeply invested in that line.
They already still have the one, though, that hasn't come out yet.
Well, exactly. And they still have how many Scarlet Witches in stock? So, and that means to tell me, and with these Boba Fett's, they were coming out with Boba Fett's that they still didn't come out with. So who's to say, Lane, that they wouldn't come out and be like, yeah, here you go. We're going to put out Anne Hathaway while that one's up. They could do it. They probably, if they do, don't offer a sculpted version. They're going to be like, you could keep the sculpted one that you pre-ordered. I could see them doing that right away.
Yeah, it's really I mean, for DC characters, I think from license they've had and been successful with, Anne Hathaway. And I mean, I own Anne Hathaway that has rooted hair, third scale statue of her. Let me tell you, it's not a lot of fun to try and keep untangled. But
well, how about what Jeff says here, Lane? Yeah, with Slave Leia with braided hair. I'll be honest with you, I kind of agree with Brother Cousins. I do think that that's one of the bombshell figures. If they come out, could you imagine this Artisan? If you have 2 days in a row, a Thursday and Friday, Lane, and your first day is this right here, and your second day is Slave Leia, the community would be in such frenzy. We wouldn't be talking about J and D or A and B or ABC or XYZ at all. That's all Howard has to do. The marketing is brilliant. He's like, listen, he's going to be talking to all these guys, and it's going to be like this.
Who the is that guy? Who the is that?
Yeah, I mean, if they did that, I mean, that is, and that could make sense for a very limited release figure and stuff. That I think that'd be more likely. Well, they would just call her Hut Slayer Leia. I think Mama Luigi's probably right on that, but
see, and I'll be honest with you, but put the Leia aside, any Leia.
Yeah. Leia makes sense for Star Wars artists.
Queen Amidala.
Well, we talked about like her in her iconic red dress with the big hair and stuff. That seems like
you mean like this one?
I will not condone a course of action that will lead us to war.
That said, like if they were ever going to do that that costume version of her, like in a very limited production where it's going to be more expensive, like wouldn't Artisan be like the perfect like reason to do it and make it like that's tailor-made for a version of a character like that?
How about and I've heard a rumor about this.
There's always a bigger fish.
Oh, you think they might do a Artisan Qui-Gon?
I've heard some inside information that it's on the docket, and I'll be honest with you, a lot of people discount Ra's al Ghul. And all I'm going to say is this: if you're a fan of that Dark Knight Christopher Nolan trilogy, which Hot Toys is so invested in, Ra's al Ghul was not only present and prominent for the first film, he was very important in the third film when everybody was thinking that Bane was his son, and obviously it turned out to be Bane's girlfriend there. Hopefully everyone's seen that movie by now.
You passed the 10-year wait period.
I'm just going to say, And it kind of boggles the mind when people say, oh, he's not an important enough character. He was probably one of the most important characters besides the Joker in that whole Dark Knight trilogy. I say the Hot Toys Wizard says Ra's al Ghul is 1000% coming. And you have to wonder, would they do Ra's al Ghul as an artisan? And I say, frack yes, because it's an excuse. They're not going to sell a whole lot of them. Limited to 1,000 artisans. And then they put out the sculpted one. And then there you go. And people will go nuts over that figure. You put out a Liam Neeson one. Look, they already got Tobey Maguire out again. As soon as they put out Mighty Thor, Lane, you got frickin' Padme. They're going to use this R&D. Lane, you're in business. Okay, we're all in business. We work for a living. What do businesses do? They find ways to make money. When you invest in something, do you put it in the drawer and not use the rest of the R&D? They're going to do this. They're doing it right here with Elizabeth Olsen, Lane.
Yeah, no, I think I don't know about Roz. Like, I'm not sure about what that necessarily, but I would love to see, like, just to give us, well, you know, it does seem like Hot Toys is going kind of back into the past in their licenses, and maybe, and honestly, for bankability right now, that maybe, but because they're, you know, obviously we've had, you know, mixed results, I guess you would say, for some of the more recent, like phase 4 and 5 of Marvel. You know, I'm looking at you, as you pointed out in one of your market chart shows recently. I'm looking at you, Shang-Chi. I'm looking at you at Wenwu, which both have, you know, when you discuss about what are the killer parts of a Hot Toys figure, great facial sculpt, great bodies, have, you know, neat effects. They're very cool figures, but they're selling for like, you know, 140, 150 bucks. So it's like,
just, and it's, yeah, I totally agree. Thank you
so
for
going backwards,
out.
like doing Ra's al Ghul. There, like you would say, there's not 10,000 people who are going to buy Ra's al Ghul from the Dark Knight, a trilogy from 12 years ago. But if they do, even if he's like not a super special edition, but, you know, he's, you know, I don't know what if they did a regular DX or something part of it again? And what if it was like him and, you know, Ken Watanabe?
Yeah.
You know, as the impersonator Ra's al Ghul, 2-pack or whatever, something like that, where they're going to make like 2,000 to like 3,000 of them. You don't think they would be able to wait less than? Yeah, over time.
Well, over time. I mean, it's just crazy. Lane, look, and I know that there's probably other shows going on. I don't normally come out. I don't want to go over anyone's toes. So I think that 90 minutes is enough. But listen, Lane, you were awesome on the show. I feel like, how many of you like Aries and Lane one-on-one? Let us know in the chat if you'd like to see more Aries and Lane, the Dark Jedi and the Midnight Collector. We could kind of be like Batman and Robin, or I don't know, some Bonnie and Clyde or something. I don't know. Whatever.
Baldy Bros United.
There you go. There you go.
Or I can't keep up with you, though. I only have one sports hat. I can't keep up with you for how many you got.
Well, you know, I have some. The hair is still there.
Yeah, you still got that.
People like saying, Aries, where's your crazy hair? You know, like Giorgio from Ancient Aliens, but it's still here. I'll do a show without it. Maybe I'll end it like this. There you go. There's Aries' hair, so everybody can go ahead and see. Actually, it's too cold.
Brennan said, we call our show Larry's.
We'll
throw on some Patera earrings and become the, you know, fuse into one and become the ultimate Hot Toy Wizard collector.
Well, listen, everybody. This is great, Lane. I really appreciate you coming on. What an epic day. I will say this, Lane. I don't think we're done. I know it's that store's 10-year anniversary thing, but I think we're getting another artist in here, maybe over the weekend or on Monday. I think we're going to get Star Wars. I'm hearing from the Hot Toys Wizard that we're going to be getting another artist in Star Wars, and that we're actually going to be getting a lot of fire from Star Wars. And next week, and coming. So hold on to your heads, hold on to your hats.
I have one prediction.
Go,
as we
Lane.
head out here. I will say, I think the Scarlet Witch will come up with Spooktacular. That's like the big yearly thing for Sideshow. So I think it'll be part of that thing to make their site crash and make us all hate life.
Well, you have to wonder, Lane, is this what they call you, my friend?
They call him the Wizard.
All I can say to that is Zim Zim Zalabim. You got to be old to get that reference.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm the Dark Jedi. He's the Midnight Collector. I'm Aries or TK FOMO. That is Lane. We don't always buy coffee out, but when we do, we buy it right here at the 6 Scale Cantina. I'm going to end it with this because not only are we getting both of these characters and this character as an artisan, we're also getting the spaceship. Stay thirsty, baby.
All right. But this is the last time.